Crowd Scene.
Hey there, in a new segment we're calling In the News.
No.
What? Come on. How about this?
What?
It's like tapping Morse code coming in. There's a big important bulletin coming in.
Unfortunately, I do. Are you familiar with Morse code?
Because
that's Morse code for I'm a tosser.
Ha ha ha. All right, we'll insert some cool music later. But basically, here's crowdfunding in the news with Peter Dean. So, Pete, you've chosen some amazing highlight of the world of crowdfunding. What do you got? What's happening? Tell me, man.
I've been rifling through the bins of crowdfunding journalism this week, and I found a stonker of a crowdfunding story for you.
Okay.
So there's this guy in New York called Louis Wittig. He's a copywriter for an ad agency.
Okay.
He also doesn't like Donald Trump very much. So what he's doing is well, exactly. So what he's doing is using GoFundMe to raise enough money to place ads in newspapers that attack Donald Trump. Okay. So he's got a range of ads which are all nicely designed. There's a picture of Donald Trump with his silly fat head and ridiculous pursed lips and hair. And let me give you an example here. Let me just read this out. So one of the headlines is Donald Trump saying, "I know Hillary and I think she'd make a great president."
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah,
right.
He said that in 2008.
Okay.
And then the copy line says, "Donald Trump wrote that. Google it. And he wants conservatives to vote for him. Either Donald Trump is an idiot or he thinks you are."
So this guy is using crowdfunding
Yep.
To raise money for advertisements to put in newspapers to denounce Trump.
Exactly. So he was looking for about $1,500.
Okay.
And in the first few days, he's gone past that. So
what's he have?
I don't know.
Wait, what?
I looked it up earlier.
You're a cracking news reporter.
A news
How
reporter.
much has he raised?
Not an investigative journalist.
Well, I mean,
he's raised more than he was looking for one ad. That's the take home here.
I think the Pulitzer is distant from your grasp right now, Pete.
Yeah.
Okay. Compelling, interesting story. This guy's using crowdfunding for good purposes.
I think it's funny. I like the idea of crowdfunding an advert to make a bold, political, and also funny statement.
Okay, and that's on
anything that makes Donald Trump look ridiculous. Well, I mean, actually, just a normal photograph of Donald Trump makes Donald Trump look ridiculous.
Yeah.
But anything that helps that along is good news as far as I'm concerned.
And that's on the GoFundMe crowdfunding platform.
It is, but you can also look it up at this URL. It's peoplewith5bucksagainsttrump.com.
Okay, and that's Louis Wittig.
His name is Louis Wittig.
Wittig. Okay, great.
Wittig.
Excellent. Pete, thanks for that crowdfunding piece of news. Hi there.
Hello.
Welcome to Crowd Scene, the show about successful crowdfunding campaigns and the people who make them happen. I'm Michael Ogden.
And I'm Peter Dean.
We're excited to introduce the weird world of crowdfunding, a new segment that's coming up next, and that's with Chris Day. But first, let's meet our guest. Our guest today is Gerado Cid with his World Metro Map. So what is the World Metro Map, and how did Gerado and his team strike such a chord on Kickstarter?
And how have they managed to raise more than 10 times their goal? The campaign was looking to raise $6,000, and now, with 12 days left before the deadline, they've raised more than $70,000.
So let's meet our guest, hear his story, and find out. Gerado, welcome to the show.
Hey, hello, how are you?
And well, congratulations on the astonishing success you've had with this so far.
Oh, thank you. We were not expecting to be that successful, but it seems like people love the map, so we're extremely happy about this.
So what is the World Metro Map? Can you describe that?
Yes, of course. The World Metro Map is 214 metro stations all together in one single map. It represents the human mobility. It represents how we all can reach any corner of the world by just taking the subway. Obviously, this is a conceptual piece, but it's a piece that's trying to bring us all together.
It's very visually striking. For those people who haven't seen it, we'll have links to it on the show notes at crowdsceneshow.com. So it's 214 cities across the world. So this is from what are the furthest points from what to what?
I would say from Australia all the way to Seattle, for example. That's a very long commute.
That's got to be over 45 minutes.
You need a pretty big newspaper for that journey, I think.
I'd like to think that we're no more than 3 or 4 stops away from Gerado.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Kind of via Johannesburg or something.
Where did the idea for World Metro Map come from?
The idea started when I was in college. I was in art school. So I found this artist called Constant Nieuwenhuys. And he had this project called New Babylon. So he connected a lot of cities together. It was like a collage. He cut different maps.
Yes.
Yeah. So he cut different maps and then he pasted them all together to create like a big metropolis. Obviously, this was more like a conceptual thing. It was not like trying to build it in reality, but it shows how everything can be like an interconnected world.
So is he connecting these maps of mountains and oceans, or is it transport, or what kind of maps was he connecting?
He was just cutting city maps, not really transport or not really maps of rural areas. It was just urban, cities,
Like cutting out a map of London and pasting it next to a map of New York and pretending that they were next to each other.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yes, exactly.
And so you saw this in college and thought, this is pretty cool?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, and it stuck into my mind, and I was like, I need to do something like this eventually.
And was it because the visual aspect of it, or was it something else?
No, in fact, it was something else. There's a lot of theory behind that map, and it talks a lot about free transit, how people should move in the planet without actually finding any border. I mean, it's not possible. There's a history about borders and how countries need to be separated and everything. But I mean, this touched the nerve, something that is really happening right now. We all know what is happening, and not just in Europe, but it's also happening here in America. It's happening everywhere.
So it's some kind of utopian ideal to have a world with no borders, where you can freely travel from one city, one country to another with no restrictions.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that was the idea. He was not really talking about immigration. He was talking about the humans that can get liberated from labor, but by automated like systems and things like that. So that way humans can commit to a more creative life.
So Gerado, what does your map look like?
Well, I investigated like all the subways that exist in the world, and then I place them all together in a single composition.
So it's like a spaghetti map of tube lines and metro lines. Is that it?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, however, there's some sort of order in all this map. I mean, it looks like a spaghetti, but in reality, it's like a Big Bang. I like to see it as a big bang.
The Big Bang.
Yeah, all the maps. Let's say that all the subway systems are in the center, and then they expand. The newer ones are in the periphery.
In the periphery, yes. I see.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought, because when I saw it, I imagined that it was done geographically with northern countries, maybe like the UK, with our underground system at the top, and then at the bottom maybe there's something in
South America.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, people try to make sense of this map, but
don't even try, Pete.
We're trying, sorry.
Yeah, don't even try. I mean, I like
Relax,
telling people that this is not an infographic. It might look a little like an infographic, so we receive a lot of messages like saying, this is not right, this can be right. I don't understand how these two cities can be connected and things like that.
You mean these are people actually trying to use it?
Yeah, I want to travel from Beijing to New York City, and the fastest way to get there is using your map, but that is not the case.
No, but it's fascinating how humans really try to understand everything they see. So this is a painful map for a lot of people. It's like, no, but wait, how can this be possible? Like,
are you making decisions then based on the visual aesthetic of how you connect these different cities?
Yeah, and it's more like a conceptual thing. It's like being in the Olympics and saying the world together in one single city. I mean, not the whole world is together in that city, but it's more like we're all together in certain way.
Gerard, if you can explain to us, you also have part of this project is to do with mobility for disabled people. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. And in fact, that's the main purpose. This is a cool map, but the main purpose is to support this initiative that is called Open Accessibility. And in fact, every dollar that we're fundraising is going to that project. I mean, this is a project by Open Accessibility. And in fact, they are the ones that invited us to actually contribute with a piece of art.
Would you have not been making this project had they not asked?
Yeah, most probably I wouldn't. So I think this was on my portfolio already. It was sitting there for a while. It was not completely finished.
And can you explain the goal that this initiative has?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go right now to Google Maps or Yelp or any other app that point you places in planet Earth, you can find important information like at what time they open, or if they have reviews and stuff like that. But there's not a single place where you can see if the place is accessible.
For wheelchairs.
For blind people, for different kinds of disabilities.
Right.
So what this Open Accessibility initiative is trying to do is just to go to those places and actually collect the data. And see, okay, there's like at least 50 different points that they collect every time they go to a restaurant. In opposition to, if you go to Yelp, they will tell you in one single field, is this place accessible? They say yes or no. Is that true or false? But in reality, that is not helpful at all because there's so many ways of being accessible. So with this, Open Accessibility opens the possibilities for a lot of people because they actually need to plan before going out. I mean, they cannot just go places and get stuck. It's very important, and that's something that is not very recognized to be accessible.
And so the money goes to helping increase that knowledge about all the places that are accessible.
Yes, absolutely, because sending people to different restaurants and hospitals and venues it's expensive.
So they must be pretty happy that you've raised so much money through this campaign.
Yeah, no, I think we're really happy. The whole thing was starting in only New York and Los Angeles, but now we're thinking of expanding this to more cities. The goal is to fund the open accessibility, and then the results. We really want to see results. We want to have a database of accessible places, and we would love to see how this data is actually useful.
What's your background? How does your background inform this project?
I was born and raised in Mexico City, and I came here to New York like 7 years ago. I'm a programmer, web designer, so that's how I came here to New York. But I also have a bachelor in arts, and that's when I learned all those theories and all that thing that is not just design, functional design, but also arts, like that you can create things without really making a lot of sense.
So, in looking at the map, it's not just like you've found pre-existing maps of all the metro systems in the world and cut them out and stuck them down. You've kind of used your own style and put the cities on the map in the right place, but it's all created in a unified style. Is that right?
Yes, it's right, because maps, they're very similar, but they all have their own style. The New York map have a different style from the Tokyo map.
Yeah.
So I redraw the whole thing and assign a single style for everything.
Because that's kind of, I find that really impressive. I'm a designer. I also make and sell posters online, so I kind of know a little bit of what you've been through. But that's that kind of effort really impresses me, because that's, these maps are put together by creative geniuses themselves, and then you've put everything into I got this worldwide map. How many different transit maps are in there? 100 or 200 or something?
Well, in total, we have 214 cities.
So 214 cities, and dozens and dozens of individual stops in all those cities, different colored lines. And you've stitched it all together somehow. It's a crazy undertaking, but a spectacular end result.
I've never seen Pete. Pete's not easily impressed. I'm kind of marveling at Pete throwing accolades at your direction.
No, thank you very much. Thank you for saying that. But also notice that the stations, I'm not just placing the maps together. I mean, I'm actually inventing new stations or mixing stations.
I didn't realize.
Okay.
Yeah, for example, I don't know if you're familiar with New York City, the map.
A little bit, yeah.
So, for example, you can see that Bedford Avenue, that is in Williamsburg, New York.
In Brooklyn?
It's connecting with Autódromo, that is in Sao Paulo.
Ah, okay.
And also, if you go to Wall Street, there's a station called South Ferry.
Yeah.
It's connecting like with Selgarskaya in Moscow, for example.
So from Wall Street to Moscow.
Exactly. It's just one station. And that's when the whole thing doesn't make sense from a, let's say, logic point of view.
I like that.
Gerado, was there something that you did not know going into this that you had to get good at?
I think like numbers in general. Like I've been always the creative guy, and I think that's what defines me. But this is an actual business, and you're running a business, you're running a campaign. You need to be very responsible with numbers, and you cannot just fool around with this. I mean, this is something I wish, but not I wish. I mean, I actually got better.
Yeah.
By doing this campaign, by contacting the providers, and being extremely serious about this, because any problem with pricing, it's an exponential problem that can explode in your hands.
Yes.
I mean, if you have 2,000, 3,000 backers and your pricing is wrong, you're gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, it certainly will.
And so you set out to raise $6,000. Where did that number come from?
Well, that number comes from a previous experience. This is my second Kickstarter campaign. The first failed completely.
Oh.
So, and the only thing that I learned in the first time I did this Kickstarter thing was you should not set the goal too high, because for two single reasons. People like or supporting successful Kickstarters. I mean, they don't like to see, $70,000 to go.
Yeah.
They would never support those kind of projects. They want to see, okay, if people are buying this, that should be good.
Yeah, a little bit of momentum. They don't want to see people struggling.
Yeah. Did you bring your own audience with you? Do you have a mailing list or like a large number of Twitter followers or Facebook friends that you could kind of help kickstart this Kickstarter?
Yeah, I mean, even we have a dashboard, every backer, I mean, every person putting a project out there. And at some point it was 45% external and only 25... No, it was like 75 external and 25 Kickstarter community. So we did a lot of work also to bring our own people.
And how did you do that?
Well, in fact, we don't know that many people, but we target like blogs and other outlets, news outlets that we know that might be interested in our project.
Before you go live, what do you recommend people do?
This sounds ridiculous, but you need to have a really, really cool project, but that doesn't mean that... I mean, what is cool, right? It's difficult to define that, but you need to do a really good research. I mean, you need to create a good story. And I think I would spend 80% of my time creating a really, really good story. That means doing research. That means finding good material to show, creating a great video. I would spend most of my time on that.
During that time, were you practicing your pitch with your friends? I mean, how would you quickly kind of give the quick description of the World Metro Map to your friends? Oh,
that's very important. I would recommend someone trying to create a Kickstarter to start already and start showing the beta version to friends and family and ask them for their opinion.
How long was it between you deciding, I'm going to kickstart this, and then actually going live?
Okay, what we believe sparked the whole situation is that we start tweeting like crazy. We open a Twitter account for this, and we start tweeting like, I don't know, like insane. So I think
blazing
that's how,
fingers.
yeah, that's how we believe Gizmodo found us.
Oh, Gizmodo wrote a piece. That's right.
Yeah, that was the thing that started the whole thing.
So did you tweet directly at Gizmodo?
No, but I believe that they ignore those kind of things. I think you need to go and tweet and hashtag things like design or technology or subway, and that's how they pick up things.
So you attribute this massive success and this this success on day 2 to simply hashtags and tweeting a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, so far we have at least 20 other blogs and websites, including Wired, including Fast Company, and a lot of things in Japan.
So how much did you raise on day 1, and then how much did you raise on day 2?
It was like $9,000 the second day.
So what was the successful hashtag that you were using?
I think subway and metro. So everyone that was talking about a subway or a metro, we answered them directly. So for example, if someone's saying like the New York subway stinks, and tweet that, for example, we would answer with, okay, why don't you take the Metro world map to another city?
That's a pretty smart strategy.
Okay.
And so they connect, they like it. Most probably they will come to the campaign.
So you said you were tweeting an insane amount. Roughly how many tweets were you sending at this time?
The first day, I guess like 50. I mean, that sounds not that many, but they were like very well think tweets.
Yeah. So let's talk very briefly about the rewards on your campaign, because I noticed something interesting. You have a $1 level, which most people these days seem to just give you access to backer updates or just say thank you for $1. But for your $1, for the first 15 people who signed up for that, they get the full poster, right?
Totally. Personally, I don't believe in $1 rewards because it might discourage people to actually buy the main product. So that dollar is right there because it's the first thing that you see, and very fast it says all gone. So it's already giving you some sense of, okay, something's going on here and it's all gone. So what's next after that? Well, the next reward.
Can I ask you, did you outsource any of your campaign strategy and planning? Did you have any kind of a team, or was it just yourself hustling?
It was just me and hustling. I mean, it helps that I've been in marketing for a while, so I kind of understand few things. But yeah, I mean, one thing that we notice is that we receive a lot of emails from companies or people saying that they know the secret sauce, so they're gonna help you with everything. And in fact, we also we actually made a mistake to going with one of them, and he promised a lot of things. I mean, he haven't raised from his part no more than $200. So
right.
So it's like, but his fees are like $300, by the way.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
So in your experience, you might not recommend the use of a campaign manager.
Big shout out to this guy then.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say his name or his company, but no, honestly, what I would recommend everyone to study all the successful campaigns, all the solutions, all the answers are there already.
I want to ask you, this is a poster. Did you look at another poster on a crowdfunding platform that you thought, yep, they got that right, and that's inspirational for me?
Absolutely. There's a campaign that is completely inspirational for us. In fact, it was not just the poster, but the whole way he created the video, the whole way, all the rewards, the way he was updating everyone, the way he was answering all the comments. This was very inspirational for us to put this campaign together.
And what was the name of the project?
Okay, so the name is Ukiyo-e Heroes.
Ukiyo Heroes. We'll put it in our show notes for this episode.
Gerado, so you've run a great campaign. What advice do you have for anyone else out there who wants to start their own campaign? Can you give us your top tips for crowdfunding success?
Well, the first one is to study previous campaigns and analyze how they answer messages, how they respond to questions, and obviously, very important, well, you need to participate in campaigns to understand the whole process.
So to back campaigns and to receive backer updates and see how other people are handling that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And the second thing would be you need to check your numbers over and over again. And that means the cost of producing your product, because that will define also your pricing. And pricing is extremely important. I mean, I would say you need to have some sort of reward between $25 and $35, because that's going to be the most successful reward you're going to have.
So you've got your level is $29 and you have 787 backers at that level.
Yeah, exactly. Even if your product is more expensive, you should have something in that tier. And start your project as soon as possible and just ask a lot of friends and colleagues about your campaign.
And do you feel like we've got some days left in your campaign? Do you have any more tricks up your sleeve that you feel you're going to try to use to continue the momentum?
Right now, we're going to try 2 different things, and we're going to start giving different rewards. We're going to create new rewards, but digital ones, like wallpapers and things like that, just to motivate our current backers to show these to more people. And also, we're giving the option of ordering more maps for less for those backers that have shipping already paid.
Okay. Yeah. And we'd like to give a shout out as well to current or past campaigns that you think are particularly inspiring. Gerardo, what's your guest pick?
I mean, right now there's a really amazing campaign. It's called Pedal Forward. It's bamboo bicycles for all.
Bamboo bicycles?
Ah.
Yeah.
All right.
They're pretty they I hope they fundraise everything they need and a lot more.
And so what's the title of that again?
Pedal Forward.
Pedal Forward. Okay. And so it's a super lightweight bamboo bike.
Exactly.
Have you backed that campaign?
Not yet, but I'm definitely gonna back it up.
He just backed that campaign by giving it a shout out, Pete.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's doing his bit. Now listen, Gerardo, before we go, can you leave us with some words of wisdom? Is there a quote that inspires you? Any words to live by?
Well, yeah. You never fail until you stop trying. This is by Albert Einstein. And remember that all Kickstarter, the most successful creators, have failed several times before actually making one that is very successful.
I think it's fantastic that you mentioned earlier about you had a Kickstarter campaign that failed, but that you got back on it and you're running a successful campaign right now. Did you hesitate to do another campaign?
Well, yes. Honestly, it's a little not very nice to fail on a campaign because you feel like, I don't know, you don't understand a lot of things. So I would recommend if you fail on a campaign, just to don't create a campaign right away. Just take some time, digest what happened, study a little bit more, and most probably your next campaign will be very successful.
Gerardo, we're grateful for your time and your advice, and we wish you continued success in your campaign.
Absolutely. And Gerardo, where can people go online to find out more about you, your Twitter handles, that kind of stuff?
I would send them to artcodedata.com.
Artcodedata.com?
Yeah, that's where, let's say that's the website for our project.
And on Twitter?
And on Twitter, it's at Gerry Cid.
And that's GERRYCID?
Exactly.
Excellent.
Fantastic. Well, Gerardo, thanks so much for sharing your story. It's been a real pleasure having you on the show.
No, thanks for your interest in the campaign.
So that's Gerado Cid. He's a cool guy. That was fun talking to him. He's got a good sense of playfulness. We've got another treat in store coming up right now. A good friend of ours, Chris Day. Now, Chris Day goes a long way back. Pete and Chris used to go to art school together, and we have all been friends ever since, working on various projects throughout the years. In fact, Chris Day and I once wrote a book together. It's an anthology of true stories called To Do Before I Die, things that people would remember their whole life. You can check that out on Amazon. But Chris has always had a big imagination and a crazy brain, so we wanted to combine that with crowdfunding and see what he came up with. So Pete and I had a blast speaking with him. We'd like to have him back, and we hope you enjoy this next bit. It's called The Weird World of Crowdfunding with Chris Day.
So, Chris, what's going on in the weird world of crowdfunding this week?
Hi, guys. I'm in Alaska.
Alaska, lovely. So what would you like to talk about this week?
Well, I'd like to talk about wearable technology. It's kind of my thing.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about ideas that I think should be funded, should be on crowdfunding platforms, probably throughout the globe.
Okay.
I'm just thinking.
Interesting.
I'm thinking big here.
This is ambitious, yeah. And you're going to share these ideas. Anyone could take them and make their way with them.
I'm more than happy to sell these ideas for whatever price they end up getting. Okay. So I'm very, very flexible about that.
So if you're listening, just grab a pen now, and here's crowdfunding expert Chris Day with some completely free ideas.
All right.
So the first idea is a smartwatch, which you wear on your wrist traditionally, and it tells you whether or not you're playing table tennis.
Okay, right.
How many of us have played table tennis without even realizing it? And
yeah, exactly.
Led to awkward looks and embarrassing moments.
Would there be a companion app?
Yes, it's the size of a small house, but we're working on miniaturizing it to a sort of sofa size, or maybe a Fiat Polo.
Does it come with a table tennis?
No, you have to provide that. It's not. I mean, they've got to make some money out of this.
Okay.
So we can't just give away table tennis bats.
Okay.
I think that's a smashing idea.
Ingenious.
Get it?
That's actually appalling.
That idea's going for free. And what's your second idea?
People can use that joke for free. Another idea is what I like to call the big pocket.
Okay.
Good title.
So the big pocket is, and that's pocket spelt P-O-K-T.
Oh, clever.
Like it.
The big pocket.
I'm already on board.
Pocket.
Big pocket. I'm considering taking the I out of the big, actually, and just having big pocket.
Take the space out of the big in the pocket as well.
Big pocket. Yeah, there's no space, no spaces, which is ironic because actually the big pocket offers a lot of space.
I think just have the letter P, but call it big pocket.
It's like a massive P.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
these are free ideas too.
In a sense, this thing doesn't exist, so I'm very flexible.
So what exactly does the big pocket do?
Big pocket is a pen, a wallet, a key ring, and a diary system that fits snugly onto the back of your iPhone, or smugly onto the back of your iPhone if you're Canadian.
You know what? You know what's funny about that is that, as far as I'm aware, no one has done that yet.
Well, I did actually look into this.
Because when you said it just seemed so obvious.
Well, yeah, and it sort of it fits onto the back of the iPhone. Everything's there. It's like a sort of Swiss Army pocket.
I think this would be a very popular item for like fathers to hand over to their sons, like a legacy item, or to give to your best man at your wedding.
Well, yeah, definitely. And also, if you're lost and you're coming home from the pub, you need to defend yourself with a knife, and at the same time you want to share photos from your previous holiday, then it's absolutely perfect. Because, I mean, who knows? If the knife doesn't work, maybe you can break down the resistance of your assailant with pictures of the family.
The art of distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, how could you mug me? Yeah. I've got these pictures of me on horseback in Ontario.
Well, Chris, we'd love to talk with you all day long, but unfortunately we have to get on with the show now. So I'd just like to say thanks for those amazing ideas, and we'll talk to you next week.
Keep on the bleeding edge of the internet there, Chris.
I think I know what you mean, and I will. Thank you.
Great. Thanks again, Chris.
All right, take care now.
So that was our good friend Chris Day with the weird world of crowdfunding. Chris will be our roving reporter, reporting from the front lines of crowdfunding, so be sure and subscribe and tune into future episodes. And also, our big special thanks to Gerado Cid and his team for the World Metro Map. It's fantastic. You should take a look at it. It's on Kickstarter right now, and we wish them continued success. If you'd like to follow us on Twitter, we are at CrowdScene Show, and on Facebook on CrowdScene Show. We're also at crowdsceneshow.com for show notes. And coming up in the next episode of Crowd Scene are Lauren and Eric of Sticky Bones, who made an animator's dream. You'll find out why when they share their story. They were super fun to speak to, so tune in for that episode and be sure to subscribe on iTunes. And if you enjoy the show, reviews do help us reach more listeners. And thanks to Kim Bookbinder for her theme song. You can find out more at kimbookbinder.com. And as always, to our good friend Jim Fowler for his expert ears at jimfowlermusic.com. So until next episode, published on Wednesdays, thanks for listening.
Crowd Scene, gonna kick it with Pete and Mike. Crowd Scene, interviews behind the hype. Crowd Scene, Crowd Scene. What do you do? What do you say to make crowdfunding go your way? Crowd Scene. Crowd Scene. Crowd Scene. Crowd Scene. Crowd Scene. Your shake brings all the backers to the yard.
Now that's what I call epic.